Last night, 5 railway stations came under fire from Russian troops, including in Vinnytsia region. The missiles hit targets near Zhmerynka and Kozyatyn, according to Vinnytsia Regional Prosecutor's Office. As a result of enemy shelling, preliminarily 5 people, including 1 employee of the railway station, were killed. 18 people were injured. Private sector buildings were partially affected by the shock wave. On April the 25th, the Russian launched missile strikes on Rivne region. The head of Rivne Regional Military Administration announced that 3 missiles had hit the railway infrastructure. No casualties were reported, and 1 railway worker was slightly injured.
Also, 20 nearby houses have been damaged. Windows and roofs have been broken. The corresponding commission works. Losses are being established. Train traffic has been resumed.
Vitaly Koval later said that the SES, local authorities and volunteers, promptly restored the roofs and installed the windows in the damaged houses. The head of Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Serhiy Haidai, said that on April the 25th, 73 people were evacuated from Luhansk region. 28 people from Lysychansk, 23 residents of Popasna and 12 residents of Severodonetsk left for safer places. Buses wait for the residents of the region every morning, but they go to the trains half empty. More than 60,000 people still remain in the free Luhansk region, Haidai wrote on his telegram. The report also states that residents of Popasna and Rubizhne want to evacuate, but the Russian army is constantly firing on evacuation buses. This is what happened last night. A bus came under enemy fire at the entrance to Rubizhne. No one was injured, but the vehicle is now unfit for work. On the morning of April the 26th, the Russian military launched 3 missile strikes on Zaporizhzhya region. This was reported by Zaporizhzhya Regional Military Administration.
There were hits on the territory of the city. According to preliminary data, 3 calibers hit on the territory of one of the enterprises. It is impossible to understand the logic. They killed a civilian, an electrician on duty, and wounded a dog.
2 cruise missiles of the Russian Federation flew at low altitude over the territory of Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant in the direction of Zaporizhzhya, Energoatom reports. According to the head of Energoatom, Petro Kotin, this threatens the world with a nuclear and radiation catastrophe. The press service of the PIVDEN Operational Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that on April the 25th, the Russian army fired on Mykolayiv and Chernihiv with Smerch multiple rocket launchers. In the regional center, a residential area was hit, as a result of which the shop of a private food industry enterprise was destroyed. The blast damaged a grocery supermarket and blew out windows in many apartments. 2 people were injured, including a child.
The enemy is trying to put psychological pressure on with constant threats and periodic launches, but the air defense forces are ready.
About 3,000 graves in the local cemetery were completely destroyed, and several thousand more were damaged as a result of Russian troops being near the local cemetery. This was announced by the acting head of the Yatsevo base, Konstantin Bursuk. In particular, the burial places of soldiers who had been defending Ukraine in the east since 2014 have been destroyed.
The missile hit the chapel and several monuments were damaged by debris from the building, by bricks and by a shock wave. The chapel itself suffered quite badly. The columns were destroyed, and the dome with glass were completely destroyed.
The Russian military had been near the Yatsevo cemetery since the first days of the war. The shelling was carried out from nearby forests.
The front line passed here. Our soldiers were on the field here, and the enemy was attacking from there, from the forest, from the ski base, from Novoselivka gardens. The shelling was carried out in the city, in the cemetery, and, of course, in the specialized integrated plant.
Pyrotechnicians continue to work at the site of the shelling. Therefore, workers urge civilians not to come to the cemetery yet. A Ukrainian schoolgirl who fled from the shelling to Germany sewed about 30 unicorns to help those affected by the war in Ukraine. Look, the number of unicorns has already reduced. This means that there will be some help for Ukrainians. Bunnies need to be sewn very tightly. It takes much time. Well, it's rather difficult than takes time. And unicorns can be made quickly, like a conveyor. Bigger number, fast and beautiful. That's why I chose unicorns. 13-year-old Alisa Zhmerynka and her family were hiding from shellings in the basements in the temporarily occupied town of Balaklia in Kharkiv region for 2 weeks. A month ago, the girl's family managed to get out and go abroad. My friend's husband died in the first days of the war. An acquaintance of ours died in the shelling in Husarivka. There was a 3-year-old child in the family. It just doesn't fit in my head. This is the 21st century, and it's not even a war. It's pure genocide. During a month in Germany, Alisa managed to raise 200 euros from the sale of unicorns. The money raised was donated to the Red Cross to help refugees from Ukraine.